Action?
Yep.
Right, to sew the lining and the bag outer together, you put it 1.5, put the pin in, the needle down, put the foot down, and then come forward. Notice where my fingers are, go back, and must go back off the fabric, because this is where the students don't go right to the edge and they end up with a hole that they've got to come and re-sew. So we're now sewing right across the top, 1.5. I'm taking the pins out. Now, I am sewing over the wadding and doing it slowly, and the pins are still in it because the pins are at right angles. It's the only time that you sew over pins, and it's okay. Then keep going and you do two the same. So you now have 2 halves of bag. So I'm going right down there, and if it does that, sometimes it does break, but it just slides on. It's not a catastrophe. If it breaks, you just put the needle in, sew over it, and you go right to the end. And it's really important they come off the edge and go back. And you can do that in straight stitching, but not come forward. Tie off those ends, 2 threads always, and there's your bag. Then I say to the students, this is magic. And they're fascinated. Then you've got 2 halves of bags, and this is what I mean by finger pressing. You take that right to left, doesn't matter whether you're left-handed, you do this. You finger press it right along and you hold it, and then if you can't do it all in one, you keep going. And the advantage of that is that the seam is then right on the edge, and it's so much easier to press. So you do that. And it's harder for the students because they don't have those fine motor skills. See how that sits now on the edge? Then you press it. Press it with the iron, and that's so important. When you've pressed it on the iron, you then put, say, 3 pins in. Now, I've sewn this pretty well and pressed it pretty well. I'm going to sew this and not iron it, but please, can you iron it? Oh, I'm a second one, so I don't have to move from the sewing machine. Right, that's pinned. See how that now sits on the, and that's nice and straight. Then, I'm not using the line in the machine, I'm using the outside of the foot of the machine, not the lines on the machine. I'm going to put this foot edge on the outside, matching the edge of this. Take the pin out. Remember, yours will be pressed on the iron, but I'm just doing this to show you. And I'm now going to go back and forth, and I'm going to sew. Now, why we do it this way is it reinforces the handle, gives it a nice top edge, and if it rolls a bit, you just get the fingers and you roll it so it sits on the edge. The bulk of the fabric's out there. You do have your strap this time in here. You just take that across there, and I'm using the edge of the foot to sew right across. Please press yours before. So I'm doing that on both halves of the bag. Then we're ready to put the pocket on, or pockets. So I've done that, and there we are. Tie off the threads. I encourage the students, I won't touch their work till they've tied off their threads. That's 1 half of your bag done. So you've got 2. So that's what you do. Do you want to use this?